a sellout here naturally at Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium as you see Lehman Bennett, recently proclaimed NFC Coach of the Year. He was Coach of the Year back in 1977. On the other side, Tom Landry, one of the most successful coaches in history, the third winningest coach in history. Only George Halas and Curly Lambeau have won more games than Tom Landry. Landry has won 184. Raphael Septien will be kicking off for the Cowboys. The Atlanta Falcons, an excellent offensive team, and at the start of the season they were the second youngest team in the NFL. Only Kansas City, a younger ball club. It is a very exciting team. In its 4 defeats this year, it lost in overtime to the Rams. It lost in the last 25 seconds to Minnesota. It lost with 32 seconds to go to Miami. And it lost with a minute and a half left against the Jets. Going deep right now is Mike Smith. And Raphael Septien ready to kick it off. And Mike Smith will take it on the 1, to the 10, to the 20, lunging to about the 22-yard line. And that's where the Falcons will put it in play. Let's take a look at that brilliant offensive line. Mike Henn, Dave Scott, Jeff Van Note, R.C. Thielman, and Warren Bryant. Bartkowski at the wheel, the running backs, and a great tandem they are, Andrews and Kane, with Francis Jenkins and the young tight end, all rookie Junior Miller. The 1st and 10 Falcons in the first offensive series of the day. Second man is Lynn Kane trying to get a block from William Andrews, but they stack him up. In looking at the Dallas Cowboys, here is Ed Jones, Larry Cole, Randy White, and Harvey Martin up front. Guy Brown playing for the injured Mike Hegman along with Bob Brunig and D.D. Lewis, with Barnes, Mitchell, Waters, and Thurman. A note, too, as you look at Guy Brown playing for Mike Hegman, in 27 postseason games, no individual player has ever gained 100 yards rushing against Dallas in a postseason game. Not much as they move it out across the 25. George, so far they are playing very conservative.
Yes, I expected that, Vin, to start out conservatively. They like to run the ball on the first down and set up the play action. Bartkowski loves the play action after the run.
Let's get into Bartkowski's helmet and find out what he thinks about going against Dallas. We posed that question to him before the game.
They need to control their front 4. They've got a heck of a pass rush, and their cornerbacks have been as good as their pass rush, I think, basically. They're great when they're getting a super pass rush, and they're not so good when they don't get the rush. But that's pretty much the way it is in this league. If you get a quarterback, any quarterback trying to throw in this league, he's going to complete some footballs.
That's Lynn Kane being knocked out of bounds after picking up the first down. Lynn Kane, who rushed for over 900 yards this year, only twice did he rush for more than 20 yards, but when they get down close, they use Andrews to block for him. He has 8 touchdowns.
Ben, I think this is the best tandem in football. Kane and Andrews is comparable to Muncie and Galbraith. This is the best offensive backfield that I've seen in the NFL.
Well, it is 1st and 10 Falcons on the Atlanta 38-yard line. In motion was Wallace Francis. Bartkowski going wide to William Andrews, but no good, and that's Guy Brown right there with Andrews, and he figures to be tested, George.
He will be. He hasn't played very much. He only had 10 tackles on the special teams. It'll be interesting to see his reaction on the run and when they get him one-on-one on a pass.
This is his first start of the year and only the second of his career. His other start was against the Giants in 1979. So it is 2nd and 10. The ball is on the Atlanta 38 in the early going. Alfred Jenkins goes wide right, and they have Wallace Francis wide left. Andrews and Kane behind Bartkowski. And on a draw, up the middle goes the big back. And he's across the 40 as Andrews, and we'll see where they spot it, whether he made enough for the first down.
You know, Ben, Andrews had such powerful legs. If you tackle him around the thighs, you just bounce off. You have to cut his legs out from underneath him. You have to hit him right around the shoe tops to bring him down.
You know, Dallas said they thought he weighed about 225 pounds, and looking at him in game films, he actually weighs only 200, but it's a very hard 200.
Yes, and they list him at 6 feet. He's probably 5'11", so that makes him about a 215-pounder. But going back to this backfield of Kane and Andrews, the reason they're so good is that they both block. They complement each other. They both are good receivers, and they both have enough speed and moves to give the defense a problem.
Well, we'll see about the defensive problem on a 3rd and 1 for Atlanta on the Atlanta 47-yard line. James Mayberry is blocking outside Junior Miller, the tight end on the right side. It'll be the second man. They stack him up. Benny Barnes came up to meet him. From our angle, it would appear as if he made it. And he did. First down, Atlanta.
Well, this is a sound play. They got the good blocker, Andrews, leading the play, and Kane going over the top. That's what they like to do down the goal line. That's why Kane has 8 touchdowns. They like to let the blocker block and the runner run.
The only better tandem in the NFL was Rob Carpenter and Earl Campbell, but of course Campbell had a bunch of yards. So 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 49. Bartkowski's going to put it up. Ed Jones can't get him. Bartkowski's pass, no good. Intended for Alfred Jenkins, just did go off his hand, and defending was Benny Barnes.
And Ben, that is exactly what we talked about at the top of the show. Bartkowski is a bomber. He's got the strong arm. He's going to test Barnes and Mitchell deep on 1st down. Actually, he has them open. The ball's overthrown.
You know, Bartkowski threw at least 1 touchdown pass in 15 of the 16 regular season games. The only team to shut him out, the New York Jets, way back in October. So it is 2nd and 10 on the Atlanta 49. Alfred Jackson is wide right as he just comes into the game. Bartkowski down the left side. He has Junior Miller, the tight end. He's inside the 30, out of bounds at the 25 of Dallas.
And you know, Vin, with Junior Miller in there, that's like having a 3rd wide receiver. Junior Miller, number 80, has the speed to go deep. He runs a 4.5, 5.40, and he's real good at running after the catch. 6'4", gives him a big target.
So Junior Miller, who had 9 touchdown receptions, he's a Pro Bowler, picks up the 1st down on the pass. Russ McKiska, the other tight end, will come in and replace him. You know, with the exception of tight end, the Falcons have started the same offensive lineup in every game this year. Another reason why they're here. So 1st and 10 on the Dallas 25. And Francis in a slot right, but they'll go with Andrews. And Andrews down to the 20-yard line. So a big pickup of 5 to make it 2nd and 5.
Let's take a look at McKeska, 87, blocking on Guy Brown. Pretty good block. He gets to his knees, drives him back, and Andrews has a low center of gravity then, and those powerful thighs, he's always going forward. Good leg action.
2nd and 4, the ball on the 20-yard line with Francis and Jenkins in a slot right. Andrews is the fullback in this I formation, the up back. And Bartkowski looking right, then going deep down the middle. No good. Alfred Jenkins had it and couldn't hold on to it. Dennis Thurman and Benny Barnes there to defend.
Then 2 things. Bartkowski had the time to throw. He unloaded once, wound up. Watch there. Plenty of time to throw. This should have been a touchdown. Right in his hands. He let the ball go through his hands into his body. Dallas can't give him that much time to throw.
So on a 3rd and 4 from the 20-yard line, Atlanta has Jenkins and Francis go right. Jackson goes left, and Junior Miller, the tight end, is shaken loose off the line of scrimmage. Bartkowski is looking over Miller's head, intended for Jenkins, and he threw behind him as he tried to find a seam between Thurman and Barnes.
That's right. Jenkins wasn't looking for the ball. Bartkowski got rid of it before he wanted to.
So on this 4th down, it'll be a field goal attempt by Tim Mazzetti. With the ball spotted on the 20, the hold will be at the 27. So it'll be about a 37-yard field goal. From 30 or less, he has kicked 20 out of 30 in his career. He does not have a strong leg, and he's been bothered by a groin pull.
That's right, and this is a big play for the Falcons.
James spotting it at the 28. The snap, then the kick. It's good. Tim Mazzetti, who was raised in Brazil and once had a tryout with, of all people, the Dallas Cowboys, has just kicked a 38-yard field goal, and the Atlanta Falcons are leading 3-0. And now Dallas will get its hands on the ball. Standing deep and ready to do some returning. Normally for the Cowboys, we've seen James Jones do the running, but Timmy Newsome is deep, and there is James Jones in the middle. Steve Wilson is on his left. And Mazzetti's kick is low and will hit and go down and be fielded by Bruce Huther. And he gives the ball to Newsome, who is drilled out of bounds at about the 22. Earl Jones, number 20, down there to make the tackle. Let's take a look at the Cowboys offensively. Donovan, Scott, Shaw, Rafferty, and Cooper up front. Danny White with Tony Dorsett and Robert Newhouse, the running backs. Tony Hill, Drew Pearson, and the tight end, Billy Joe Dupree. First and 10 on the Dallas 22. The Dallas Cowboys, 14 times in the last 15 years they've been to the playoffs. The only wild card team to go to a Super Bowl, but they lost to Pittsburgh in Super Bowl 10. Danny White with Drew Pearson in motion. Play action fake to Dorsett. And Danny's going for the bomb on the first play to Tony Hill, and he overthrows him. Tom Pridemore and Kenny Johnson right there with him.
You know, then a fine call by Landry. Good execution. Tony Hill slipped on the grass a little bit. Not enough to fall down, but that ball was right on the button. He just lost his balance a little bit as he was trying to run the fly pattern. He was open for a big play.
Well, it is 2nd and 10, Dallas. In the early going, 9:22, Tony Dorsett ready to handle the ball for the first time. Again, Drew Pearson in motion, picked up by Bob Glazebrook. And Dorsett bangs into Don Smith, who buries him. We had asked Tony Dorsett about running on grass before the game, and this was his answer.
Well, actually, I prefer running on natural grass. I think it's, as far as my style is concerned, I've heard a lot about it here since coming here yesterday also that, Tony Dorsett can't run on grass. I think I'm going to surprise a lot of people today. I think I can run on anything that we can play on.
Well, we'll see now about Atlanta trying to stiffen on a 3rd down, almost 9 for the Cowboys. And out of the shotgun comes Danny White. White going to the right side, knocked in the air, juggled and dropped. Roland Lawrence had both hands on it as he took it away from Tony Hill, but he couldn't hold it. And there was a savage hit. Fulton Kuykendall really drilled a Cowboy, and that Cowboy has been knocked out of his saddle, and it is Tony Dorsett.
Well, here it is. The Falcons come with a 4-man rush. I think that's a must today. They run a stunt. Dallas picks it up, gives them the time. The ball's a little high. Dorsett probably should have had it. It's deflected, and very fortunately, it was not intercepted by Lawrence. Tony Hill jarred the ball loose before Lawrence could put it away.
And as you can see in the picture, you see Kuykendall and Buddy Curry, 2 of the linebackers, sandwiching, and Al Richardson also in there. So Dorsett severely shaken up. And on a 4th down play, Dallas will have to punt once Tony can get back on his feet.
Well, Vin, these young linebackers, these Falcon linebackers are hitters. They swarm around the ball carrier or the receiver like a bunch of hornets. They're all over the place. Somewhere along the line, Landry will do something to counter that, run a gadget, run a reverse to take them out of pursuit.
Danny White has had opponents return his last 10 punts for a combined total of only 16 yards. He's been brilliant. Kenny Johnson standing on the Atlanta 30-yard line. And White drills it high. There's a flag on the play, and the ball is caught by Bob Glazebrook at the 40-yard line. And let's see about the interpretation of the flag. By the way, the officials today, 174 years of officiating experience, 101 in the NFL. With referee Fred Silver, umpire Pat Harder, and you can see Tony Viteri, Ted Hantak, Stan Javi, Dean Look, Don Orr, and Frank Glover. So the umpire, in this instance, Pat Harder, bringing that ball back. And Dallas has Danny White ready to punt again. They will mark off 5, but they still have another 3 for a first down.
Defensive holding, number 20, before the kick, automatic first down.
If that would have been during the kick, the ball would have been turned over.
Right, it was not a change of possession foul. The foul was called before the kick. Consequently, Dallas gets a gift and a first down. 1st and 10 on the 29. Tony Hill and Drew Pearson go left. Billy Joe Dupree comes back as the tight end. The report on Dorsett, wind knocked out of him. He will be back. And it'll be Robert Newhouse running into red shirts. And they stack him at about the 30-yard line. Well, he might have purchased another yard.
You know, Vin, this Atlanta defense was 3rd against the run. Nobody ran too much against them.
Here are the men. Jeff Yates, and when he's healthy and playing, it's very hard to rush. In the 2 games he missed, opponents rushed for 195 for the Jets, 256 by the Rams. In the 14 he played, they gave up only 84 yards on the ground. Don Smith and Jeff Merrill, the other 2 of that strong up 3. Go to 2nd and 9 from the 30. Drew Pearson in motion on just about every play, picked up by Bob Glazebrook. Newhouse stayed in to block for White, and the pass is complete. But boy, what a price. Dorsett belted at the 34-yard line by Buddy Curry.
You very seldom see one man in an tackle with those Falcon linebackers. There's 2 and 3. They're all over the place, and they're ready hitters. Buddy Curry, 2nd-round pick. What a choice he's turned out to be. They send all, there's 2 men on him. They send all the signals into Buddy Curry.
There they are, the fearsome 4 of Richardson, Kuykendall, Curry, and Joel Williams. And on a 3rd down and 4, Dallas, having been given a break on a holding penalty against Atlanta, still trying to keep the ball as Pearson in motion, running through the shotgun. Preston Pearson is in there as a safety valve, but the pass is dropped by Kenny Johnson. He had that interception intended for Tony Hill and couldn't hold on to it.
The ball sailed. A good strike, a good throw. He had him open. What? Here's the shotgun snap to Danny White. And the ball is high. The ball sails a little bit. Kenny Johnson has it right in his hands.
You know, an interesting thing, during the regular year, Atlanta had 26 interceptions, 16 of those interceptions by rookies.
That's fantastic. It shows you the quality of those rookie players, Vin.
Well, Danny White will try to punt again. Remember, the last time it was nullified by the holding penalty, and again Kenny Johnson goes back to the Atlanta 25. Only one of White's last 30 punts have been returned for 10 yards or more. Johnson backing to the 4. Spun around, and he's not going to get back. Johnson unable to get it to the 20-yard line, and you can see why Danny White's punting has been remarkable. Atlanta's first drive, they started on their own 24, and it was capped on a 38-yard field goal. Now they will start on their own 20 as Alfred Jenkins goes wide right. Alfred Jackson goes wide left. And it's Andrews and Kane with Francis in motion. Andrews getting out to about the 25-yard line, if they spot it there. And on the sideline, Tony Dorsett, evidently okay, visiting with Robert Newhouse, which is certainly good news for Dallas.
I think he just got the wind knocked out of him. Then on that last play that the Falcons just ran, they liked Andrews on 1st and 10. And it's a pick-a-hole play. He'll run off tackle, he'll run up the middle, he'll run wide. He does a good job of reading his blockers.
Jenkins goes left, and Francis goes right. Draw to Lynn Kane, and Kane is out across the 30 to the 35. Flag on the play. Well, we'll see the interpretation. That would be enough for a first down. And it is a first down.
So far, Bartkowski has hurt the Dallas defense twice on 2nd down and 7+ with draws. Picked up good yardage. Good time to run a draws on 2nd down and long.
So they move it out to the Atlanta 36-yard line where it is 1st and 10. Jenkins wide right, in motion is Wallace Francis. He's picked up by Aaron Mitchell. Bartkowski is going to throw to Francis, and Mitchell, who is with him, takes him out of bounds. A question, George.
Yeah.
Aaron Mitchell was picking him up. What is the coaching philosophy about motion?
Well, we always spent a lot of time defense in motion. Then I didn't want to have our defense not know who to cover or who is going to force on motion. The big thing is you're trying to get a one-on-one situation. You're trying to isolate somebody so that you got a faster man against a slower man, and you're trying to bother the force.
So that's what they were doing there. They were pinning Francis on Aaron Mitchell.
And it makes you call audibles on defense.
So they picked up 4. It is 2nd and 6 on the 40-yard line. Andrews is the fullback. Play action fake to Kane. Charlie Waters coming on a blitz. And the pass smothered as Harvey Martin came in to knock it down.
Well, that shows me something there, Vin. The Falcons are a heck of a team on 1st and 10. I always felt that when we played Dallas, we had to throw 50% of the time on 1st and 10 because they're in that flex defense. They don't rush as well. We also had to be effective running, but if we didn't throw 40 to 50% of the time on 1st and 10, we were in trouble. Now here,
Guy Brown
and Charlie Waters, 41, rushing the passer, which shows good preparation on Dallas's part.
3rd and 6 on the Atlanta 40-yard line. Bartkowski with Andrews flaring, and he's going to go deep down the left side to Jenkins. Jenkins is going to go touchdown. Aaron Mitchell was beaten, as you said.
Then I don't want to keep repeating this, but I said this twice. Bartkowski's going to go deep and work on the corners, Mitchell or Barnes, with his wide receivers, and there it is. His offensive line is giving him the protection to throw. This guy led the entire NFL 18 yards a catch.
Jenkins had only one 100-yard game this year, despite the fact he had over 1,000 yards in pass reception. So he just burns Aaron Mitchell and the Cowboys. It is 9-0, and Tim Mazzetti will try and round it off to 10. The spot by John James. It's 10-0 Georgia. Well, looking good would be an understatement right now. 10-0 in favor of Atlanta. And on the sideline, catching his breath, Alfred Jenkins, the lightest player in the NFL. He's about 155 pounds, and he had a string of 73 straight games with a pass completion, and he kept that alive just now.
Then when you defense a receiver like Alfred Jenkins, I always felt you had to stop him deep. I didn't care if he caught a dozen passes as long as he didn't catch the home run on me.
Well, we'll see now about Tim Mazzetti kicking. James Jones is the middleman, flanked by Steve Wilson and Timmy Newsom. And it'll be the Jones boy at the 10. To the 20, 25, 30, 35, down at about the 41. Earl Jones and Kenny Johnson finally bringing him down, and that's an interesting pairing because Kenny Johnson and James Jones were teammates at Mississippi State, playing against each other in a big one. Ray Strong is a special team star for Atlanta, but watch what happens sometimes. He is drilled by Jay Saldy, the big tight end who knocked him right out from underneath his helmet.
Good blocking and hard running.
1st and 10 on the Dallas 40 as the Cowboys tried to get going. Ron Springs is in there now. And in motion is Drew Pearson. Dorsett is blocking, and the pass to Springs no good. Dorsett was trying to block Glazebrook, who was coming in a dog, and he just did pick him up.
You know, Vin, actually, we've said this 2 or 3 times. But Dallas is going to try to do the same thing to the Falcon corners. Johnson can be beaten deep with Tony Hill. They're going to try to isolate Johnson or Lawrence and go deep one-on-one there. Both ball clubs have similar personalities.
2nd and 10 on the 40-yard line with Ron Springs and Tony Dorsett behind Danny White. The back stayed in the block, but they're setting up a screen for Dorsett. And after a good block, he is tripped up at the 45. Robert Shaw threw a good block on Buddy Curry to let that play go. And finally, Jeff Yates brought him down. But it was Shaw, the center, who made the block to give up the 5 yards.
I like this call. The Falcon defense is coming hard. Jeff Burrows has 8 sacks, putting pressure on. Throw a screen. Throw a screen to your best back. Tony Dorsett, you have a chance for a big play. Even if you don't, it cuts down the rush.
But here's the big play now. 3rd and 5 for Dallas on the Cowboy 45. Drew Pearson goes wide right. White with time, and he has his big tight end Dupree, and let's see where they spot his forward motion. Very close to a first down. He had to get just shy of the 50, and I would believe that's where they're going to spot it. They'll measure.
Then you said he had time, and the reason he had time is the Falcons just went with a 3-man rush. They have to rush at least 4 to put pressure on White.
They are now going to measure to see if Billy Joe picked up the first down or not. You know, when you run against Atlanta, it's a tough buy. They have held Walter Payton to 40 yards, and they picked up the first down by a couple of inches. They held Payton to 40. They held Sims to 21, and they held Cribbs of Buffalo to 31.
Well, as we mentioned, in the entire NFL, they rank third against the run.
There's Mike Ken.
But they're 13th on the pass.
Ken with a scratched left arm in his battle with Harvey Martin, which should be an interesting one-on-one confrontation all day. Well, the Cowboys have it 1st and 10 at midfield, and they sell Drew Pearson to the left this time. They pitch back to Dorsett. He gives it to Drew Pearson on the end around, and Pearson to the 45, knocked down at about the 41. And George, at the start of the show, you said Landry was going to come up with a gadget play, and there it is.
Well, every time we played Dallas, whether it was a league game or a playoff game, he came up with something to counter whatever we did effectively. And that play that we just saw was to counter that great pursuit by the Falcon defense.
This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or the use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Atlanta Falcons and the National Football League is prohibited. So 2nd down and about 1 on the Atlanta 41, and Ron Springs is back in there for Dallas. 2nd and 1, White is thrown to the air, down the middle, and in a crowd. Tony Hill makes the reception at the Atlanta 20-yard line.
Then in a crowd is exactly what it was. Danny White had the time to throw, and he had to throw a perfect pass to get it in there, or it's deflected or intercepted. Look at the time he has. 3-man rush again. 3-man rush. He picks Tony Hill out. The ball is thrown perfectly.
So this Cowboy scoring machine that was number 1, they piled up 454 points during the regular season. They've been stung. They're trailing 10-0, and now they're on the move. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 20. Dorsett is on the wing. Now comes back to join Ron Springs in the backfield. White looking left, now going deep over the middle. There's nobody there. He overshot Tony Hill, and look at all the red shirts around Hill.
There's Septian. A very good athlete. He's strong. I had him with the Rams. He's a good kicker. I'd give him an edge over Mazzetti in the kicking game.
You know, if they have a field goal attempt inside the 28-yard line, in his career, he's made 97% of those. So they're close to the scoreboard one way or the other.
Then on that last play, you said he was looking left. He was looking for Jay Saldy, but he was covered.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 on the Atlanta 20-yard line, and the Cowboys go slot right. White looking with Hill and Pearson on the right side, so he throws out of bounds on the left. He had Ron Springs and the tight end Billy Joe Dupree over there, and you had Joel Williams and Kenny Johnson defending for Atlanta. So it's a 3rd and 10.
Well, 3rd and 10. The last play they came with a blitz, a safety blitz, and he did the right thing, get rid of the ball. Now it's 3rd and 10. The Cowboys will probably go into the shotgun. I always wanted to have a man right over the nose of the center, Fitzgerald or whoever's in there at center, and bat him around and hope we got a bad snap. They got a man on his nose.
3rd and 10 on the 20. They have Mike Zeal in there on the nose of the center, Robert Shaw. And Danny White going down the middle in the end zone. Touchdown and drop. Butch Johnson had the ball knocked out by Kenny Johnson. And apparently Dallas thought he had it long enough.
You know, Vin, that's a judgment call down there, whether he had the ball long enough or not.
Let's take a look.
Butch Johnson's wide open. He has the time to throw. Perfect throw. Here it is, right in there.
And both feet apparently down, and then he lost the ball.
Here it is again. Here's from another angle.
Remember, in the end zone, or for that matter on the sidelines, you have to get both feet down while in possession, and it appeared as if he was. However, he had his back to us, and the official in the end zone was looking, and perhaps he never had possession.
Johnson knocked the ball. Johnson did a smart thing by going after the ball and knocking it loose.
So Sepien will be called upon for a field goal from the 28. Charlie Waters will be the holder. And the kick by Sepien is good. The determination is based on one word, possession. Now watch the ball, and just as Butch is turning, it begins to slip out, and down it goes. So he did not have possession, and Butch is still steaming. He caught 4 touchdowns during the year.
Then you did one of our games in St. Louis where
Never forget it.
Mel Gray had a touchdown, cost us the championship against Pat Fisher. They took a meeting, a confab for 5 minutes, and then they said, hey, we're giving them a touchdown. And the same referee is here that was there that game, Fred Silva.
That was back in 1975, George, and I'm sure you've never forgotten that date. But the big thing, as we said, with his back to us, you didn't know if he had possession, and he never had possession. No, so since he didn't have possession at all, the fact of 1 foot or 2 feet down in the end zone did not make any difference in that case.
Has nothing to do with it.
All right, Raphael Sepien kicking off at the 35. Deep is Mike Smith at the 4, to the 15, 20. And down at about the 22-yard line. Among others, Bill Rowe, the rookie, down there to nail him, along with Timmy Newsom and Dexter Clinkscale. A reminder, the NFL today, starting at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time next Sunday, and the NFC Championship. The Eagles know they've won. It's a question whether the Eagles are going to play at home or on the road. If Dallas wins today, the Eagles are at home. If Atlanta wins today, Philadelphia comes to Georgia.
I'm sure Dick Vermeil would rather play at home.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 23. Miller, the tight end, on the right side, and they're going to go that way. But Andrews is grabbed by too tall Jones, and that's that. Bob Bruni came in on the kill to drop him at the 20-yard line.
You know, Vin, they had one remaining back, Andrews, and he's lined up in the 3 spot or the fullback spot. I never felt that was a tough formation to defense. You just have one guy there. Actually, that's what Houston tried to do a little bit against Oakland last week. One remaining back never gave us problems.
Well, they ran him on the strong side with Junior Miller blocking, but they couldn't move too tall. Go to 2nd and 10 on the 23. Guy Brown is up now, the linebacker, playing just outside of too tall Jones. Bartkowski going over the middle, and he has Wallace Francis at the 35, and he's down at the 38-yard line, picked up by Guy Brown. And as you can see, the Sands have run through the hourglass as far as the first quarter is concerned in Atlanta, Georgia. The Falcons leading 10-3. They have it 1st and 10 on their own 38-yard line. Alfred Jenkins goes left, and that's Wallace Francis in motion left. The backs stay in the block. The pass to Junior Miller, and the tight end is out across the 45-yard line. Dropped by Dennis Thurman at about the 47, and the tight end is going to be busy today.
Oh, he's a beauty. He was on the all-rookie team, and Again, I'll repeat, he's like a third wide receiver there, 6'4". He has excellent speed, runs well with the ball after the catch. What's taking place, then, is that this Falcon offensive line is countering Dallas's defensive line. Bartkowski has not been hurried or rushed yet.
That'll be second and a long 2 with the ball on the Atlanta 47. The Falcons in a slot left. Bartkowski on a straight-ahead quick handoff, trying to get the first down with William Andrews, and the Cowboys very grudgingly not about to give him more than a yard. And from this angle, it would appear as if he didn't quite make it. Not yet.
You know, the reason the Falcons' offensive backs are not noted or haven't gotten the publicity, they're not spectacular. They're not the type of backs that would run 80 yards. They're pluggers. But they, as a tandem, they really do a job. Andrews starts like a track man. Maybe we'll see that later.
Kane has had 2 runs of better than 20. Andrews has had 10 runs of 20 or more to tie Earl Campbell, but as you mentioned, he doesn't ever really break that big one for you.
And he's averaged 4.9, which is only Dexter Bussey of Detroit in the NFC has a better yards per try.
So as you see, they came up short on this third down. They bring in 2 tight ends, Russ McKiska along with Junior Miller, James Mayberry on a wing on the right side. And he will go to Kane following Andrews' block, and Lynn Kane has the first down at midfield. And as you said earlier, when you have Andrews as your fullback, that really helps Kane.
That's right. The same play, actually the play is what we used to call a 25M hunch. The fullback leads. Watch the line play on this. Watch the Falcon line come off and make that hole. Andrews neutralizes Brunick. Kane picks up the first down.
First and 10 at midfield. 10-3 Atlanta early in the second quarter. Back staying into block, and Bartkowski with some time over the middle, no good. Broken up by Guy Brown, who got 1 meat hook on it. It was intended for Alfred Jenkins. Bartkowski is now 5 for 11 for 114 yards. Danny White 4 for 11 for 36. But remember, Bartkowski hit the jackpot with a 60-yard touchdown pass to Alfred Jenkins.
And Finn, what he's doing is throwing on 1st and 10. That's the best time to throw against the Cowboys. Throw the ball 1st and 10. Now here comes Dallas in. They almost substitute a complete team. They send 4 men in on defense.
So 2nd and 10 at midfield. The Falcons are 2 for 2. The first time they got the ball, they wound up with a field goal. The second time they had it a touchdown. This is their 3rd series of possession. Bartkowski going to spring it off to William Andrews, and it hit Too Tall Jones' helmet, I believe, and that figures.
That was an afterthought. He wanted to go downfield to Junior Miller. Junior Miller was covered. He dumped it off. You know what the Cowboys are trying to do is get White, Randy White, one-on-one. They take Dutton out. They bring in Cole. Cole's a better pass rusher. Take all their linebackers out. Bring in extra defensive backs.
Larry Cole in his 25th playoff, establishing an NFL record. D.D. Lewis, number 50, will be in his 24th playoff. So they have some wise heads on that side of the line.
I like Cole. He can really play football, and he goes all out all the time.
3rd and 10 from midfield. Jackson goes wide left, but the Falcons have a slot on the right side. Bartkowski looking left, and a diving attempt, and the catch by Alfred Jackson is good for the first down. Inside the 40, a great diving catch by the kid they call Action Jackson.
And this is the first time Bartkowski's rushed a little bit. He feels some pressure. Here's a diving catch of a low ball. Again, Vin, these Falcon receivers are underrated. Jackson, Jenkins, Miller, Francis.
Should have known they had something. He was Earl Campbell's best man. 1st and 10 on the Dallas 38. Andrews staying into block Too Tall Jones, and the pass is no good. Intended for Wallace Francis. A good defensive play by Steve Wilson.
Yeah.
And Wilson, only 2 years from Howard. He's the son, if you have that kind of a memory, of touchdown Tommy Wilson, who played in the Pro Bowl He was a running back with the Rams, the Vikings, and the Browns in the late 50s and 60s. Here's a chip off the old block.
Doing a good job. Then again, Bartkowski throwing on 1st and 10. Good protection. The Cowboys are going to have to put more pressure on him or he's going to be successful.
2nd and 10 on the 38. Francis wide right, and Jenkins goes left. Kane and Andrews behind Bartkowski. And this time it's Andrews. Hit, staggered, on his feet, runs around Ed Jones, and the second time around, too tall, gets him.
Well, very seldom do you see William Andrews hit for a loss.
Alfred Jackson on the sideline coming in with a play. And a reminder that Ed Too Tall Jones is playing with a severely sprained big toe.
Yes.
And yet he was still able to stay with Andrews and bring him down.
Very good point, Vin. He deserves a lot of credit. Last week, he played with a painful injury, and the Cowboys need him. He's a vital part of that defense.
So it is 3rd and 18 on the 46. Alfred Jackson, who just brought in the play, comes left, and the tight end is on the left side. But they have 3 receivers. And now Bartkowski says, wait a minute, this formation isn't quite right. And he's going to have to waste a timeout. On a 3rd and 18, punter John James on the sideline. Just a reminder, and when you talk about inside the 20, that means the number of kicks opponents fail to return to their 20-yard line. It does not necessarily have to be out-of-bounds kicks. So he's quite a weapon. 3rd and 18 on the 46-yard line of Dallas. Atlanta leading 10-3. Slot right, and in a close set behind Bartkowski. The back staying in. Harley Martin knocks the ball loose, and Anthony Dickerson recovered it for Dallas. Anthony Dickerson, who had a hip pointer, and we didn't even know if he was going to be able to play, falls on the fumble. A big save for Dickerson. Pearson wide right. Dorsett and Newhouse are behind Danny White. Jay Saldy is on a wing in a double tight end. White on a bootleg is now going to throw, and it's to Billy Joe Dupre and down to the 25-yard line. So they had both Saldy and Dupre in there, and I guess, George, the normal tendency is to think that they would pass to Saldy.
Right. Saldy has more speed. Dupre's a good blocker. But Dallas has made a living on this play for years. It's a bootleg. With Roger Staubach, he'd run the ball as much as he'd pass it, and Dupree comes underneath from one zone to another. Heck of a call.
Well, they picked up 20 yards on that pass. Danny White is 5 for 12 for 55 yards. He has it 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 25. Tony Hill wide left and Drew Pearson right, and Dupre in a wingback position now, shaken loose and goes in motion. Dorsett trying to get outside, and Bob Glazebrook along with Al Richardson, and Richardson forcing it and making the tackle.
Then we can't see it, but there's some of it right there. The whole defensive team was over there by Dorsett. All 11 players.
Al Richardson is another one of the storied linebackers down here. Al went to Georgia Tech. He had 7 interceptions this year, and the record for interceptions by a linebacker in the NFL is 8.
That's fantastic. And 7 interceptions.
He never had an interception in high school or college.
Well, he's in the right position. They use him in a walk-away.
2nd and 9 on the 24. Robert Shaw, the center. Danny White to Tony Dorsett. Big hole, and Dorsett is outside the 20, and Kenny Johnson will ride him out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. Robert Newhouse blocking for Tony Dorsett.
Well, they need a big game by Dorsett to take the pressure. Here it is. It's a strong side sweep. Good blocking at the point of attack, and a nice move by Dorsett. He faked in, Vin. There it is. That's Newhouse
on
blocking.
Bob Glazebrook.
Right. And now Kenny Johnson tackles him high
and kept him away from the first down. It's 3rd and 1 on the 16. And Dallas now is asking for a timeout. 10 minutes and 15 seconds to the half. Vin Scully along with George Allen. The Cowboys trying to capitalize on a Bartkowski fumble. They have a 3rd and 1 on the Atlanta 16. Saldy again on a wing outside Dupre on the right side. And White straight ahead. And it would appear as if he picked up the first down at the 15-yard line.
Good call, Vin. You got inches to go. It's the safest play. Straight ahead. White's a good, strong, good-sized quarterback. Pick up the first down. White take a chance, handle it off, and maybe have a fumble or get a loss. Somebody slips through the seam, and now you have to kick a field goal.
So 1st and 10, and he actually moved the ball just over the 15, so they'll spot it at the 14-yard line. And the Cowboys have a slot right. Tony Hill and Drew Pearson go right. White giving it to Dorsett. And Dorsett is knocked down at just about the line of scrimmage, the 14-yard line.
Well, Ben, you know, we said at the top of the show that Dorsett had to run. The Cowboys had to run effectively to take the pressure off of White so he could throw. This Falcon defense so far has shut off the run completely. They haven't done anything running.
Those men up front for Atlanta who played in the 78 playoffs, Yates, Merrow, Kuykendall, and then in the secondary, Lawrence and Pridemore. Otherwise, a very young ball club. They're 2nd and 10 on the 14. Dupree, the tight end on the left side. And White, a little screen to Ron Springs, and he's to the 5-yard line. And if he moved it across to the 4, he might pick up a 1st and goal. It just depends on where they spot it.
That's a good call. Real good call. They're expecting pass. He dumps it off a screen. Here it is.
On that screen this year, Springs went 58 yards for a touchdown against the Giants. Same kind of play.
He's a good athlete. Good blocking downfield. This is a good area of the field to run a screen. Many times you can go all the way into the end zone. They're measuring. It looks like it's short.
Not quite for a goal situation.
Here comes Newhouse in.
That's how much. So it is a 3rd down play now that they've spotted the ball. 3rd and inches on the Atlanta 4. Back is Dorsett. Now shifting out of the eye with Saldi and Dupre. The 2 tight ends are on the right side. Let's see if they go that way. Play action fake and a roll to the right by White. And he's going to throw it to Billy Joe. And did he break the plane? He did. Touchdown for Dallas.
Boy, oh boy.
So Billy Joe, who has caught 8 touchdowns this year, 3 of them from 9 yards out, 2 from 12. This time makes 1 from 4.
They use motion coming back to fake a run. He runs a bootleg. Very fortunate to get this off. Curry overran the play. Curry had him covered. The ball was thrown behind Dupree, so by coming back for it, he lost his position.
Tom Pridemore tried to come up and keep him out, but the big tight end was able to break the plane and go in for the touchdown. Now we'll see about the tying point. Set the end out of the hole by Charlie Waters. It is good. The Dallas Cowboys capitalizing on a fumble by Bartkowski after being hit by Harvey Martin, recovered by Dickerson, go for a touchdown to tie it up. And now the kick to Mike Smith at the 4, to the 15, to the 25, 30, to the 40, dragged down by Bethea at the last minute, or he's gone.
Great field position for Bartkowski.
The rookie out of Grambling, Mike Smith, makes a great return. And Atlanta now in excellent field position, and a Dallas player is hurt.
There it is. Mike Smith, a 7th-round draft choice. Look at the hole he has.
The Dallas player who is hurt, they just signed him, Norm Wells.
Activated in place of Randy Hughes.
Number 66, you can see him in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, just beginning to roll over on his back in pain. So Norm Wells, who went to school at Northwestern.
You know, Vin, you mentioned the word fumble before. Atlanta had lost the ball just 9 times on fumbles this year, the entire year, and they had a turnover ratio of +16, which was the best in the NFL.
And, of course, it is typical that when you give a good team a break, they cash it in. At halftime, reminder, Brent Irvin Phyllis will be with us. And then, of course, we'll get back to this thing, which is just really starting to bubble. 10-10 with 7 minutes and 57 seconds left in the half. And so Norm Wells shaken up. He was activated by Tom Landry with the injury of Mike Hegman. And now Wells is hurt on a kickoff return.
Well, you know, we've talked about Atlanta's young ball club. The Cowboys have 8 rookies, and they have 16 other players with 3 years or less experience. So they're a young club also.
A 39-yard return by Mike Smith, and it's 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 43. In a slot right. And they go straight ahead to Lynn Kane, and he's across the 45 to about the 46-yard line.
Well, that's what Atlanta likes to do. Atlanta likes to establish something on the ground on 1st and 10 and then set up the play action. That's what Bartkowski has done so successfully all year.
You know, when you see an Atlanta ball game, and we've done a couple, you expect it to be an exciting game.
Yes.
Dallas, of course, has a history of playing great games. Atlanta had to come from behind in 10 of their 12 victories. And they're even 10-10 here. 2nd and 7 on the 46. Wallace Francis in motion, picked up by Aaron Mitchell. The back's release, and the pass is to Francis, and Mitchell finally brings him down at the 49-yard line. So once again, they put Francis in motion. Mitchell picks him up. They isolate him one-on-one, and they go to Francis.
That's the whole thinking. Here's Wallace Francis in motion, 89. See him going through the backfield. Now he turns upfield and runs what we call a shoot pattern, about 5 yards deep. Makes a one-on-one situation. Mitchell has to cover him.
So for Bartkowski, as Mayberry and McKeeska come in, Francis and Jenkins come out. It's a 3rd and 2 on the Dallas 49. A 2 tight end, and Mayberry, a blocking back, is on the wing. And they'll go that way. Lynn Kane trying to cut. And again, the question of the forward progress. Might have to measure. George, any surprises? It seems like most of the things you talked about at the top of the show have come about.
Yes, actually, Dallas is fortunate that it's 10-10 because Atlanta missed a touchdown pass. They could have had 14 points.
Of course, Dallas feels, I'm sure in their hearts, they think Butch Johnson had a touchdown pass.
Yeah, true, man. That was a judgment call. That could have gone either way. We said these teams are a toss-up, and it's showing that. So far, they're dead even. The Cowboys' experience in playoffs and big games,
they're going to have to measure. It is so close.
Might give them the edge.
You talk about the home field advantage. It might be interesting to point out that in the playoffs, the Cowboys have a better playoff record on the road than they do in Texas.
That's interesting. Well, that shows good coaching, good players, good unity. You know, a good team can win anywhere.
You saw Ernie Staudner talking to one of the members of the chain gang, and now you can see that Lynn Kane was not able to pick up the first down.
Ernie Staudner usually wears a different color jacket because he sends the signals in, and they don't have a confusion on it, all wearing the same blue jacket on the sideline.
So here's John James, who went to school at Florida, didn't play football until his senior year when he answered the plea of his coach, and he has been marvelous. 4th and 1 on the 48. James has run the ball once this year. He ran 13 yards against New Orleans. First time he ran with the ball in 9 years. Low snap, but he got it away. And a fair catch is called for James Jones at the 15-yard line. 5 minutes and 52 seconds to the half, all even at 10-10. The single key play for Dallas, the recovery of the Bartkowski fumble when Steve was hit by Harvey Martin, and they cashed it in. Atlanta's touchdown was 60-yard pass to Alfred Jenkins. Each side trading field goals. And now it's 1st and 10 on the Dallas 15. Dorsett is the deep back. Timmy Newsom is in there to block. And Dorsett, cutting from the block, is stacked up at about the 20. George, when you look at Tony Dorsett, when he's the deep back out of the eye, sometimes I get the feeling that he is deeper behind the fullback than most.
Yeah, Well, usually you want your tailback a little bit deeper, but that's a good point, Vin, you made, because sometimes when he is a little extra deep, he's getting the ball. They flip it to him. Another thing on Dorsett, I've never seen him run better than he did last week against the Rams. He ran hard. When he got bounced around, he ran even harder.
So 2nd and 5 on the 20-yard line. Lawrence comes up to pick up Tony Hill. But on a little handoff to Newhouse, they stack him up. There wasn't much foolery on that play.
No, they had a little motion, but that didn't bother him. Tackling Newhouse is like tackling a fire hydrant. He's so low, and again has the powerful legs. You have to try to get underneath him. He's a good football player. Not spectacular, but good.
You know, he's had a hairline fracture in each leg in the last 2 years, and yet Robert Newhouse is the number 3 Cowboy rusher of all time, behind Don Perkins and Calvin Hill. 3rd and about 3 on the 22. Ron Springs is in there with Dorsett. The pass is to Dorsett, and he can't hold it. Roland Lawrence came up to lower the boom on him just in case, and I think Dorsett might have heard some footsteps.
And the other thing he did, then he jumped for the ball. He didn't have to jump for it. The ball was right in his hands, and he jumped for it. And when you jump for a ball, sometimes the relationship of your hands and the ball don't mesh. That was a first down. That was a good call also. He only needed a few yards. Hit the weak back on a stop pattern.
So Danny White ready to punt. Kenny Johnson is standing back on the Atlanta 40-yard line. Slightly high snap from center, but White got it away. And it's Johnson just shy of midfield, and he is buried by Anthony Dickerson. And it was Dickerson, remember, who recovered the fumble. He's quite a kid.
Yes, a hungry free agent.
Rookie out of SMU, who is playing with a hip pointer. He was questionable in the middle of the week. There is a flag on the play, personal foul, and a clip.
Well,
against Atlanta.
There's more penalties than on the kicking game. Nearly every kick, there's some penalty. You know, I was just going to say, from that area of the field, he had the ball on the 49-yard line. That's where Steve Bartkowski likes to go deep for the home run. Now, whether he will from here, that's something else. But when he gets at midfield, he likes to fake the ball to Andrews.
Number 51, personal foul, clipping.
Fake the ball to Andrews and go deep.
So instead of having the ball on the 49, it goes back to the 34, and that's where Atlanta will put it in play. 1st and 10. The Falcons led 10-3 at the end of the quarter, and the Cowboys have scored the only points in the 2nd quarter to even it up, and we have 4:15 to the half. Bartkowski with Andrews staying in to block, and he's going deep in double coverage. No good. Did he catch it? Yes. I can't believe he caught it. Oh.
Just what I said. He likes to go deep on first down from that area of the field.
Take another look. Well, Aaron Mitchell and Dennis Thurman were all over him, and somehow he caught it.
Double coverage. But he played the ball. He played the ball. They played the man. 58 yards. Jay.
You know, I almost thought the ball hit Aaron Mitchell in the chest.
Jenkins played the ball all the way. That ball should have been broken up.
So from the Atlanta 34 to the Dallas 17 on that pass to Alfred Jenkins. Here comes Lynn Kane trying to get inside Warren Bryant's block. And they stack him at about the 15-yard line.
You know, Vin, I don't know whether you said it, you may have, but Len Kane had 914 yards. That's tremendous. And this is a guy that's the second back in the backfield. That's why they're such a fine tandem. They both can run, they both can block.
There's a story. Alfred Jenkins, 155 pounds, caught a 60-yard touchdown pass for a score and just handled a pass on double coverage and took it away from Mitchell and Thurman to put it 1st and 10 on the Dallas 17. Now it is 2nd down and 8 on about the 14-yard line. Bartkowski looking left, throwing in a hurry. He's got Junior Miller. And Miller has gone out of bounds inside the 1-yard line.
Then Junior Miller, watch Junior Miller on a drag pattern. Good protection. Junior Miller adds a dimension to this pass offense. Coming back a little bit, the ball's throwing behind him. Knocked out of bounds, almost scored.
So first and goal for Atlanta. The ball is a foot from the goal line. Lynn Kane is the deep back behind William Andrews. Lynn Kane trying to follow Andrews.
There's a flag.
Flag on the play.
The same play then we talked about. Fullback lead. Kane carried the ball.
Offside, Dallas. It's refused. Touchdown, Atlanta.
There it is. The same play they used 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. This is the reason why Kane has 8 touchdowns. This is his 9th. Andrews blocking. He's following the fullback right in there.
Encroacher. Refused.
William Andrews throwing the big block on Bob Brunig to open up the hole for Lynn Kane. With 2 minutes and 26 seconds to the half, it is 16-10 Atlanta, and Mazzetti trying to make it 17. And he does. On the sideline, there is Lynn Kane scoring the touchdown thanks to that key block by William Andrews on Bob Brunig after the miraculous catch by Alfred Jenkins.
Man-for-man blocking along the line. Fullback leads through, picks up any stray tacklers. 2 hands on the football.
You know, Alfred Jenkins has caught 2 passes today for 110 yards.
There it is again. I like the way Kane has 2 hands on that ball. He's not going to fumble it. You know, earlier I said if I were defensing Alfred Jenkins, I wouldn't care if he caught 12 passes as long as he didn't catch any home runs. You have to stop him deep, and Bartkowski did the same thing he would have done if he didn't get that clipping penalty then. He went for the bomb, and that's what he's going to try to do the rest of the ball game, isolate and get one-on-one. There he had two-on-one, and they still didn't play the play.
Dennis Thurman and Aaron Mitchell, and yet Alfred Jenkins took it away from him. Bartkowski is now 9 for 17 in this first half with 2:26 left. Bartkowski has passed for 194 yards. Of course, 110 of those yards on 2 of the passes to Alfred Jenkins. Standing deep, James Jones, flanked by Timmy Newsom on his right and Steve Wilson on his left. And Tim Mazzetti ready to kick off for Atlanta. Jones will be blocking for Newsom, who takes it at the 8. He's to the 20. Timmy is hit by Kenny Johnson. Flag on the play. And let's hold everything. Take a look at the flag. Ray Strong was pointing over at the Cowboys. We'll see if Ray is involved. There is Ray Strong. Now see if a foul is in. That's 57. Bruce Huther, who hooked him.
Yeah.
And the penalty
almost had
against Dallas.
A takedown, Ben.
Yep. Fred Silva will
on the run back, number 57, holding. First down.
So Bruce Huther guilty of holding Ray Strong, as you saw, and it is 1st and 10 Dallas on the Cowboy 12. Cowboys send Tony Hill, Drew Pearson left. Billy Joe Dupree shaking loose wide right, but comes back as a tight end. Is Drew Pearson, picked up by Bob Glazebrook. And it'll be Robert Newhouse, upended at the 15. And boy, they are hitting down there now.
They are. Well, they're a bunch of hitters. Those young linebackers are a pleasure to watch.
The 2-minute warning. Among other things, in the last 2 minutes, remember, during a regular portion of the game, a fumble can only be advanced on 4th down by the man who fumbled it. But in the 2-minute warning, on every down, a fumble can only be advanced by the fumbler. Just one of the many rule changes in the final 2 minutes. 2nd and 6 for the Cowboys at the 16-yard line. White from the shotgun. Little lob screen to Preston Pearson, and he's belted at the 14-yard line.
Well, they were waiting for that, Vin. They were waiting for that when they went with a 3-man rush.
And the man who did it was Robert Pennywell, that name right out of Dickens.
He's standing right there. That's his key. He has nothing to do but watch Preston Pearson, 26, come up and make the play. Dallas only has 2 timeouts left.
Herb Scott threw a good block, but it didn't phase Pennywell. White throwing down the left side to Tony Hill, and he goes out of bounds at the 27, and that's good enough for the first down, stopping the clock with 1:32. Richardson is almost up on the line to try and jam Hill on the left side. White going to release to Preston Pearson. Bob Glazebrook drops him at the 30-yard line. Kuykendall and Curry there along with Joel Williams.
You know, Preston Pearson then really reads the coverage or reads the man that's covering him. He runs individual routes about as good as anybody out of the backfield.
And Preston and Fulton Kuykendall exchanged a few words. White going down the middle, no good. Intended for Jay Saldy, and he had his legs cut out from under him by Tom Pridemore.
Well, Pridemore hit him just as the ball reached Saldy's hands. Here it is, shotgun. Now he has pretty good protection. Time to throw. 4-man rush. Now watch Pridemore hit Saldy just as he tries to put the ball away.
We have 1 minute and 1 seconds left to the half. Tom Landry checking the clock. Each side with 2 timeouts remaining. Atlanta leading 17-10. Pearson and Butch Johnson come right. Dorsett is back there with Preston Pearson. And Tony is going to stay into block and then release. And it looked like they were going to set up a screen. Now White's going to run. Now he decides to throw. And the catch is made by Butch Johnson at about the 45 with a flag on the play.
Well, I think White may have been over the line. He may have crossed the line of scrimmage.
It looked like he was thinking screen to Dorsett at first.
Or somebody downfield, because he had a lot of time to throw, Vin, and the reason was they went with a 3-man rush. That gave him the extra time.
So Fred Silva will march it off against Dallas. 52 seconds left in the half.
Offense, number 67. Illegally downfield.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Still 3rd down.
And that's Pat Donovan. A reminder at halftime with Phyllis and Brent, Terry Bradshaw, and Roger Staubach.
The reason for Donovan being downfield, he had so much time to throw that Donovan figured the play was over.
Well, it is still 3rd down and about 17. Preston Pearson, grabbed by Kuykendall, gets out across the 30-yard line, but Fulton Kuykendall dropped him. The clock is still running, and now timeout. Atlanta with 42 seconds, and the crowd giving the defensive unit of the Falcons, led by Kuykendall, a standing ovation.
Well, the Falcons did the smart thing on defense. Take a timeout. You can either go for a block punt here or for the return, and you still got time to get in position.
So it is a 4th and 10 for Danny White and Dallas. Atlanta now with 1 timeout left, and Dallas has 2. And we have 42 seconds to the half.
They have just 1 man back, Kenny Johnson. And you know, Vin, what he does so well, he watches the coverage coming down the field before he catches the ball. Not many guys can do that.
Kenny standing on the Atlanta 35. Danny White standing on the 15 for the snap by Rafferty. And he got it away. Down there is Benny Barnes to cover it inside the 35. And is finally down by Anthony Dickerson at the 34-yard line. Don't forget the NFL on CBS. Next Sunday, it'll be the championship game, Philadelphia versus the winner of our game. To repeat, if Dallas should win as the wild card team, they cannot host, so they would go to Philadelphia. If Atlanta wins, they would host Philadelphia here in Georgia next Sunday.
The Falcons went for a punt block on that last kick, Vin.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 34. To block, but Bartkowski with time goes deep in and out of the hands of Alfred Jackson, with Barnes and Mitchell over there to defend.
Well, you used the word time, and again, the reason Dallas went with a 3-man rush, the Falcons kept in 6 blockers, so you got 2 men on every rusher.
So it is 2nd and 10. We have 24 seconds to the half. The ball on the Atlanta 34.
Again, he likes the home runs in this situation. He'll send Jackson or Jenkins deep on a fly pattern.
He had 31 touchdown passes during the regular year, did Bartkowski, and he's had 2 big bombs today. And there he goes, completing the pass inside the 45-yard line to Alfred Jenkins. So Jenkins has caught 3.
If they give him that time, he's going to burn them. They got to put more pressure on him. They can't give him that time with a 3-man rush, Vin. We said at the start of the show that the pass rush on both sides is going to be very important, especially here.
Take another look at Alfred Jenkins, able to make another great catch, his 3rd, before being driven down. He's been able to catch him in crowds. Charlie Ward has finally brought him down.
You know why Bartkowski's improved so much, Vin, is that he's now selecting the right receiver to throw to.
George, a question. Jenkins has really hurt the Cowboys now in 3 big passes. Do you see any glaring reason why?
Well, they're giving him too much of a cushion on that, and they didn't rush enough. And you got to jam him a little bit at the line of scrimmage and slow him down. Even with the present rules, you can still jam a guy and molest him up to 5 yards. You can't let a racehorse back like that get off scot-free. And they have to, the Cowboys front 4 have to put more pressure on Steve Bartkowski. But I started to say he's improved because he's throwing to the right receiver. I think he has 3 receivers over 50 catches. That lets you know that he's spraying the ball around.
Steve Bartkowski has passed for 217 yards in this first half. Be interesting to get comments from Terry Bradshaw and Roger Staubach. And there you see them. They'll be with us at halftime, and they can certainly analyze this passing day of Bartkowski.
He's got 15 seconds. He has time for 2 or 3 plays.
And no timeouts remaining.
One of them will be a bomb.
Oh, he has Francis, Jackson, and Jenkins all on the left side. Boy, that's like a 60-yard dash lined up on the left. Is going to go, and it's picked off by Steve Wilson at the 28, and Wallace Francis falls on him right there.
Nice play by Steve Wilson.
He had 4 interceptions during the regular season, and Wilson stops Atlanta cold with that interception.
And again, Bartkowski, there's the insert, is throwing to the one-on-one coverage. The ball was underthrown, a little bit underthrown. Steve Wilson made a good play, but he's picking the right receiver to throw to. If he overthrows that pass, the ball's not intercepted, the receiver has a chance to get it.
They spot the ball on the Dallas 29. So the Cowboys have 7 seconds. They have 2 timeouts, and Atlanta leads 17-10. 1st and 10 from the 29, and a lot of movement, so let's see. Danny White went down with the ball as the clock ran out. And again, a standing ovation, naturally, here in Georgia for the Atlanta Falcons. Tom Landry and the Cowboys go off to our right, down by 7, and the Falcons go in now to chew on it, leading 17-10 at halftime. And the Falcons will be kicking off to Dallas, and Dallas ready to get going with James Jones on the goal line. Timmy Newsome is on his right. Steve Wilson is on his left. This is Vin Scully along with George Allen. Pull up a chair. Welcome to the second half They're about ready to get it underway.
And Vin, as long as Steve Bartkowski's protection is as good as that is, he should keep bombing, keep throwing that football.
Well, in the gloaming here, the kick will be dropped and muffed by James Jones. Back to the 10 and upended shy of the 15-yard line. Down there was Earl Jones, number 20, and Ray Strong, number 25. Two of the special teams fellas who really deserve the credit. What a job they do.
Now, offensively, the Cowboys are going to have to run the football. Here it is. The ball hit him in the arms, on the forearms rather than the hands. That's why he missed it. Got a good bounce. He has done an
excellent Jones. There's 20 Jones, and underneath Ray Strong.
He's done an excellent job for them on returns.
Well, the Cowboys will put it in play. 1st and 10 on the Dallas 15-yard line. Dorsett, the deep back out of the eye. Drew Pearson wide right, and Dorsett is going that way. Roland Lawrence underneath to make the tackle after Tony had crossed the 20-yard line. Dorsett averaging 3 yards a carry in the first half. And remember, Atlanta during the regular year shut down Walter Payton along with Sims and Cribbs, and now he's number 1 target.
Well, Vin, as I started to say, that's what they're going to have to do is to get the running game going. Dorsett needs to pick up 100 yards, 90 yards, something like that, so that White doesn't have to just rear back and throw. They have to run first and pass second.
2nd and 1 on the 24. Hill and Pearson go left. Tony Dorsett is a wide receiver on the right side. Newhouse straight ahead, spinning out to about the 27 or 28, good enough for the first down. Tom Pridemore at the bottom of the heap.
See, Dallas only had 128 yards total offense the first half. That's practically nothing. They're very fortunate to beat 10-17.
Steve Bartkowski trying to stay warm on the sidelines. Boy, he's been blazing hot between the lines. It is now 32 degrees in Atlanta and dropping. They expect the temperature to go into the 20s. Danny White on a play-action fake, setting up a screen behind the line to Ron Springs, and Springs is caught by Mike Zeal as he crossed the 30-yard line.
It took a little too long to develop. They picked it up from behind. Mike Zeal made the play from behind. Again, a good call. 3rd down screen, play-action screen. Here's Mike Zeal and coming in rushing. Now, the ball was a little bit high. He had to jump up for it. Mike Zeal made the play from the rear.
It is 2nd and 6 on the Dallas 32, and the champ begins defense. Play action to Dorsett, and the pass is to Drew Pearson, dropped at the 46-yard line. And now Dallas is on the move.
Well, that's the time to throw. 1st and 10. Play action. Drew Pearson drove Johnson off, made him look like he was going deep, came back, good execution. Here it is. Play action. See him driving him off. In fact, you can't see the defender. He drove him off so far. Now he comes back and makes the tackle.
Atlanta corners play exceptionally loose, don't they, George?
Yeah, they're worried about the bomb. They've been burnt there before.
1st and 10 on the Dallas 47. The motion is Drew Pearson, and they give it to Billy Joe Dupree, the tight end, going wide. Joel Williams was able to grab him from behind, and then he got help from Kenny Johnson.
And then again, that's that counter play to take care of the Falcon pursuit.
And Joel Williams, who made the tackle, is hurt on the play, and Atlanta can ill afford to lose this fella. A collective sigh of relief in Georgia when Joel Williams was able to walk off the field unassisted, but he was shaken up, no doubt about it. He's not quite ready to go back. Tony Dakin, who's a long way from his birthplace, Taipei, Taiwan, is in there at linebacker now for Joel Williams. 2nd and 5 on the Atlanta 49. James Jones is in there in the backfield. In motion is Jay Saldy. They're going to go to Springs, and brings a left-handed passer, arcing one to Tony Hill. No good.
Well, a good call. He had him wide open. It was like a fair catch. The ball took a week to come down. I don't know whether we can see it again, but he was wide open. Here it is. Left-handed pass. He throws the ball a mile high. He was hit just as he released the ball. Look at that. See? Fair catch.
Even had Tony Hill caught the ball, he was out of bounds. So it is 3rd and 5 on the Atlanta 49. Pearson and Butch Johnson go left. Tony Hill goes right. And Danny White out of the shotgun. Under pressure, releases it. And it's Preston Pearson to the 25, dragged down from behind, fumbled. Atlanta has picked it up. It's Tom Pridemore with the ball, and Tom Pridemore returns it. And are they delirious in Atlanta? And just to complicate matters, a flag on the play.
Wow, what a great play here by Danny White. Now watch him avoid the rush, and what a great run by Preston Pearson. He's a real pro. He's doing this on his own. Good moves. Now he loses the ball. Picks up by Pridemore. Big play by the Falcon defense.
Wait a minute on the call, however.
Personal foul. 88. Push to the face. First down.
Both Pearsons figured prominently on that play. Preston fumbled. Drew Pearson was guilty of a personal foul, and Atlanta has it 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 30-yard line. Francis and Jenkins in a slot left. Bartkowski on a quick out to Jenkins, and he got away from D.D. Lewis. Bob Brunig finally brings him down across midfield. Lewis missed him back at about the 40-yard line.
Then as long as your protection is good, and as long as the corners lay off of the wide receiver, you see, Mitchell and Lewis collided, actually. You expect help from D.D. Lewis underneath. They knocked each other off, but as long as those corners are laying off, you can get 5, 6, 7 yards.
Jenkins has now caught passes for 155 yards. 1st and 10 on the Dallas 48, and a quick opener to Andrews. He's inside the 40-yard line.
Well, that's what I expected him to do. We were just talking about that. Here's Andrews. From the fullback spot, look at that hole. Tremendous blocking. He's a quick starter. That's what will make their passing game even more effective. 9 yards.
So it is 2nd and 1 on the Dallas 39. Alfred Jenkins goes left. And it'll be Lynn Kane stacked up. There was a lot of movement up front. It could have been a Cowboy was guilty of encroaching, or he could have been drawn off. Let's see. It'll be offsides, Dallas. Now, there was a lot of movement on the right side of the Dallas line.
Then what Dallas is doing right now, they're double covering the wide receivers.
That's Randy White. I believe he's been guessing a lot on the Atlanta count all day and getting away with it, but he didn't get back.
Defense, number 54. Offside, first down.
You listen to the cadence. You listen to the quarterback's voice, and it draws you offside. And you know, he wears number 54 then because he was drafted as a linebacker out of Maryland, and they tried him out as a linebacker.
He's a brilliant player, Randy White. First and 10 on the Dallas 34. Andrews stays in to block, but now releases and takes the pass at the 30. And William Andrews will be stacked up at about the 26. He kind of did a slow block and then released, and he was wide open.
Well, then what's taking place the last few series, Dallas is doubling the outside receivers, double covering them, long and short. Now that puts guys like Andrews and Kane underneath one-on-one. And again, it shows Bartkowski's development. He's throwing to the proper receiver. He's not trying to throw in a crowd.
Oh, it is 2nd and 3 on the Dallas 27. Wallace Francis telling Alfred Jenkins to come on over to my side, the left side. On a draw to Andrews, trying to run for daylight, and he's got it. First down to the 15-yard line.
This guy Andrews, number 31, is an outstanding runner. He's got tremendous leg strength, good balance. One man usually doesn't bring him down. You have to tackle him real low to bring him down.
He has now carried the ball 9 times for 36 yards. Lynn Kane has carried 9 times for 33. So it is 1st and 10 from the 15. Bartkowski to Lynn Kane, trying to cut back, and he is met by Bob Brunig, and he purchased a yard or 2.
Then, you know, this second half, I always felt that the first series on offense was so important for your ball club. In the first series on defense, Dallas went right down the field, almost scored and fumbled. Now the Falcons are going right down the field. It sets the tone for the entire half.
A big fumble by Preston Pearson, thanks to an assist to Joel Williams, who caught him from behind, and that has given Atlanta new life. 2nd and 7 on the Dallas 12-yard line. Bartkowski over the middle, touchdown.
And watch the protection that Bartkowski has on this. He has all day to throw, and as long as you have this type of protection, here it is. You should stay with the passing game. There's nobody close to him. One-on-one, he's beaten Guy Brown, I believe.
Yep, it is.
59.
Right.
He ran an angle pattern on him, started out and came underneath.
Guy Brown playing for the injured Mike Hegman, and those were back-to-back little releases to William Andrews over the middle and led to the touchdown. The point is good, and they are delirious in Georgia. White going to go down. Falling on the ball is Jim Cooper, and Cooper fell on the ball. Otherwise, Atlanta might have recovered the fumble, and Cooper saved it for the moment anyway.
Well, Ben, you know, one thing that we said early, that Dallas had to get that running game going so White could throw. Here it is. This is definitely a fumble. He's hit by Smith again, and Cooper, 61, luckily finds it right next to him.
The Grits blitz, and that would sum it up in 2 words here in Atlanta as they put the heat on Danny White. Now it is a 3rd and 22. The ball is back on the Dallas 18-yard line. White out of a shotgun. He's going to release it on the left side to Dorsett on the screen. And Dorsett brings it out across the 25-yard line, but he had to get all the way out to the 40. Long way to go.
You know what they did? They had a 2-man rush on that, Ben. Just the 2 defensive ends rush, and the nose man laid off, which was a good counter for that screen.
Kenny Johnson deep on the Atlanta 40-yard line. Danny White punting from the 15 and down. And Johnson is belted by Anthony Dickerson, and the loose muff is recovered by Atlanta. Anthony Dickerson was down there to drill him just as he was catching the ball.
I think he interfered with Johnson's chance to catch the ball. Here it is. Here it is. There's Johnson setting to catch the ball.
He never had a chance. He never had a chance.
Hit him before the ball reached him. Sometimes you can be too reckless on the special teams.
And that will move the ball to the Dallas 49-yard line as Fred Silva will make the announcement to the crowd.
51, Dallas, fair catch interference. First down.
5 minutes and 15 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. 24-10 Atlanta. Steve Bartkowski has passed for 258 yards. And he has it 1st and 10 on the Dallas 49. Wallace Francis in motion. But it's a give to Andrews, and Harvey Martin just swallows him up at the 46-yard line.
Well, Harvey Martin, 79, is an outside rusher. It's pretty hard to circle him, to go wide on him. It's a tough block for Mike Ken to try to hook him.
I'm sure Dallas will see Preston Pearson's fumble on the tackle by Joel Williams. It looked like the Cowboys were driving to tie it up, and now suddenly they're 2 touchdowns behind.
It was a big play for the Falcons.
On the sidelines, you can see some of the Cowboys, Jim Cooper, Tony Dorsett, waiting to get the ball again. On a second down, Bartkowski on the pressure, flag on the play. 3 Cowboys got him. Randy White, Ed Jones were there, and also Dexter Clinkscale.
They blitzed.
And they'd be holding.
They blitzed them. That's what they have to do to get the rush. They haven't been getting in there with 4 men. They have to come in with 5 or 6.
Dave Scott, number 70 for Atlanta, had been bothered in the early season games with a lot of penalties. He seemed to have ironed that out, and let's see if he's the guilty man on this one.
Offense, number 66.
No, it is Warren Bryant instead on the other side.
3rd down.
There it is.
Here come the Cowboys. Martin and White.
Well, he tripped too tall. He tackled him around the ankles. That's what he called.
Well, that moves the ball back to the Atlanta 35. Remember, they started on the Dallas 49. It's 3rd and 26. Lynn Kane trying to get outside. Got across the 40-yard line.
You know, Vin, the Falcons rank 2nd in total offense in the NFC. So they've got a balanced offense. They can beat you running or passing. Although
it is very much out of balance today, the runners, Andrews has rushed for only 32 yards, Kane for 35. The big key has been the 258 yards in passing by Bartkowski. John James punting from the 30. James Jones standing on the Dallas 20. And Jones standing at the 20. Juggles, fumbles, falls on the ball. And I believe he recovered his own muff. Well, during the week, they were talking about dogs, and tonight here in Atlanta, they're talking about the Falcons. But we'll see about the Dallas Cowboys now. 3:38 left in the 3rd, and the Cowboys saddling up on their own 15, 1st and 10. Danny White giving to Timmy Newsom, and Newsom goes down butting heads at about the 18-yard line. Timmy Newsom is bigger than most Cowboy fullbacks. He weighs about 227 pounds as you look at a somewhat anxious Lehman Bennett chewing on a 2-touchdown lead, and a rather stoic and, as usual, inscrutable Tom Landry.
What a job both those guys have done this year. Landry's brought his club along remarkably well, and Lehman Bennett has been a surprise at the NFL.
2nd and 6 on the 19, and Danny White looking for a receiver, throwing on the run, and it is caught by Tony Hill, who was spun out of bounds, but enough to pick up the 1st down. Let's take a look at that play.
Well, Danny White's maneuverability made this play possible. 3-man rush, and watch White move around, avoid the rush, and then hit Tony Hill on the insert in your screen. Tony Hill, look at Tony working to the open place. Instead of standing there, he works to the sidelines. White hit him.
And Roland Lawrence right there to bring him down. 1st and 10 on the Dallas 30-yard line. Dorsett and Newhouse back in there again. Drew Pearson in motion. And they'll give it to Dorsett. Cutting back against the blocks, and he gets out to about the 40-yard line, and then the Falcons try to punish him.
Well, the Falcons, Ben, you said punish them. They love to gang tackle. On that last play, there were at least 4 men in on the tackle. And, you know, Dorsett is so quick and so fast that he's by you, so all you can do is grab the arm or the elbow.
You know, one of the stories so far, prior to that carry, Dorsett had gained only 15 yards. So now, with 1:35 left in the 3rd, Atlanta leading 24-10, Dorsett has rushed for only 24 yards, but it is 2nd and 1 on the 39. And they'll go to Newhouse. And Newhouse out across midfield, still on his feet at the 45 and drives to about the 43. A great single effort by Robert Newhouse.
Well, he's a fire plug back, a hard runner, protects the ball. Look at him, look at the hole there, look at the blocking. He's not going to go all the way, but he's always picking up valuable yardage.
Remember, this started on the Dallas 15. The last time Dallas had started on their 15, Preston Pearson fumbled on the Atlanta 15. And now Dallas gets the ball again on their 15 and immediately moves out to the Atlanta 44. So they can move it. It is 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 44. Play action fake to Dorsett. Little pass to Ron Springs coming out of the backfield. And Springs will out of bounds inside the 20-yard line at the 17-yard line. And here come the Cowboys.
And Vin, all of this is possible because they got the running game going. He fakes a play action pass on that last one. Hits Springs in the flat, and he runs for a 1st down.
He didn't quite get out of bounds. The crowd had obscured it, and the clock is still going, so there's only 7 seconds left in the 3rd quarter as Springs got it down to the 17-yard line. The start of the 4th quarter, the Dallas Cowboys driving. They have it 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 17. It is 24-10 in favor of Atlanta, and Dallas trying to pull a Falcon trick and come from behind.
And then the reason they're on the 17 is they finally got that running game going so that White can throw. He has to have that sequence.
Robert Newhouse taking a brief respite on the sidelines, and Danny White brings him out. Tony Dorsett and Ron Springs. Drew Pearson goes right, and Tony Hill goes left. Going down the left side, all alone is Tony Hill at about the 5, and then he came back up again. Finally brought down by Kenny Johnson.
Well, they threw one-on-one. Here's Tony Hill going down the field. Bootleg action. The corner's laying off. Johnson's laying off. Made the play.
They will spot the ball just inside the 7-yard line.
Anytime, Vin, you can get that corner laying off, take whatever you can get. 4 yards, 5 yards. It's good football, good offensive football.
1st and goal for the Pokes, and they send Drew Pearson wide left, Tony Hill right. Dorsett and Springs behind Danny White. The motion is Drew Pearson. And they go to Dorsett, trying to go wide. And he is knocked out of bounds, shy of the goal line, but he's getting awful close.
Boy, those young linebackers are hard to run on. They just swarm all over the ball carrier. That's why they finished 3rd against the run.
Remarkable note of Tony Dorsett. For 10 consecutive years, that means going all the way back to high school, he has averaged 1,000 yards a year, better than 1,000. He's had 11 touchdowns rushing during the regular season, and now, of course, when they get down to pay dirt, they give him the ball. Tony Dorsett, 4 years from the University of Pittsburgh. What a play. Well, from the 1, it's 2nd and goal. And they want Dorsett to get on the other side of Newhouse. And it'll be Newhouse. He's in there. Robert Newhouse busting over. Newhouse had 6 touchdowns during the regular year, and look out, the Cowboys now got one that got away on them, and now they're coming back.
Back in the ball game. Good blocking at the point of attack, giving it to a hard-nosed guy who's always low and is built low, and he scores. When they snapped that ball, there was only 3 seconds left. Shifting around the backfield, they almost used up their full 30 seconds, Vin.
Well, one of the big plays, of course, besides the running of Dorsett and Newhouse, passes to Tony Hill and to Ron Springs.
13-53. We lost 6 seconds. Can you put it back, please?
And you can hear Fred Silva saying that we lost 6 seconds on the clock. It should be 13:53 left in the game.
On the ensuing kickoff.
So they will establish the new time on the ensuing kickoff. So it is 13:53 left in the game.
that might not seem like it's important now, but when you get down to that final second, you need a field goal. It's very important.
You know, the history books tell us the Cowboys are the only NFC wildcard team ever to win in the divisional playoff round. They beat San Francisco in 72, and in 75 they beat Minnesota, both times with incredible last-minute heroics.
I remember them very well.
Raphael Septien trying to kick it through. Hold by Charlie Waters, and the kick is good. There's a flag, however, on the kick. Septien, during the regular year, had kicked 59 out of 60, and he had kicked 78 straight until he had one go awry against Oakland.
On the kick, successful. 27 on the defense, leverage. 15-yard penalty assessed on the kickoff.
On the successful point after by Raphael Septien, Tom Pridemore was guilty of climbing up on the back of one of his teammates and trying to block it. That leverage penalty was called against Pridemore, and so instead of kicking from the 35, the penalty exacted after the point. Septien will be kicking from midfield.
And then you have to watch for an onside kick.
Nope, he's going to kick it all the way to Waycross.
You know, we used to be able to jump on a guy's back and jump up and block the kick. Minnesota was very good at that. Bud Grant's team did a good job of that. We used to do it. Then they put in a rule that you can't step on a man and get elevation, get extra height to block a kick.
So on the 1-yard run by Robert Newhouse, and by the way, the clock is still at 13:47. First and 10 on the 20-yard line. Atlanta leading 24-17. Bartkowski staying cautiously on the ground, getting out to about the 24-yard line. The clock now running, as you see, as they try to catch up properly.
Boy, when they're in that last formation with Andrews at fullback, what we call a brown set, you really got to stop him. He starts so quickly.
Andrews has carried for 36 yards. Kane has carried for 41 yards. Remember, no running back has ever rushed for 100 yards in the playoffs in 27 previous playoff games against Dallas. On second down, Bartkowski looking left, has to throw over the hands of Too Tall Jones, and an incredible catch is made at the 41-yard line.
Wow, this
Wallace Francis somehow came up with that ball.
A great catch. Bartkowski has to throw, backing up. The hands are up. Martin's hands are up, making him throw out of a well. And watch this catch by Wallace Francis. He threw over the linebacker in front of the defensive back.
Well, Francis, a rolling catch, taking Aaron Mitchell away from it, brings it out to the 41-yard line, where it is first and 10. And they'll try the middle, and Randy White is right there to wrap up Andrews and take him down. Would you say that's cautious, George, or do you think it's just all part? For instance, you see Bartkowski, you figure one play leads to another, huh?
I think, for instance, that last play, he just ran the ball. He picked up 3 yards, 2 yards. But he's setting up a play-action pass where he'll fake to Andrews and hit Jenkins or Jackson deep. Even though he hasn't been successful on first down, he loves those play-action runs, and they'll set up the play-action pass.
Well, it's 2nd and 8 on the Atlanta 44 with Alfred Jenkins, who's been quite a star on the right side, and now Wallace Francis comes over to join him. The pass is to the Junior Miller, the tight end, and he dropped it as Dennis Thurman came up to defend.
And then the reason he dropped it, the Cowboys came with a blitz, a safety blitz, and before he could get his head around, the ball was on him. Bartkowski had to get rid of it.
Miller has caught 3 passes today for 48 yards. Francis has caught 4. But the big man, Alfred Jenkins, has caught 4 passes for 153 yards.
Well, he's a home run hitter.
Junior Miller comes out now. And they have the track team on the right side. Bartkowski looking right, and finally has it smothered by Too Tall Jones.
Well, the Cowboys came in with a 4-man rush, and it was effective. They ran a stunt, and Too Tall got right in his face.
Fulton Kuykendall, who's been leading the linebacking brigade for Atlanta, and he has really been punishing Tony Dorsett whenever Dorsett gets his hands on the ball.
He certainly has. The momentum's changed a little bit, Vin, now. The Cowboys stopped them. Cowboys offense been moving the ball.
It's 4th and 8 on the 44-yard line. John James will be punting from his 35. Good snap. Cosby could not get in there. And a fair catch called by James Jones at the 24-yard line, and that's where Dallas will put it in play. With 11 minutes and 23 seconds left in the ball game. Atlanta 24, Dallas 17. The last time the Cowboys had the ball, they won 85 yards in 8 plays to get to within 1 touchdown. And now they start on their 24. Dorsett from 3 yards behind Newhouse. Takes Newhouse back, fumbles the ball, and I think Tony fell on it at the 30-yard line.
Well, they're doing the same thing, Ben. They're running the ball, which will set up the pass. They got a break there. It looked like he never had really put the ball away and had possession of it.
So despite the fumble, he picked up 6.
Here it is. High formation. Oh, yeah, the leg kick. The leg come up and hit his elbow and knocked the ball loose.
2nd and 4 on the Dallas 30. Pearson has spent all day in motion. This time it's Tony Dorsett in motion. It's blocked by Herbert Scott, and he goes out of bounds across the 35-yard line. And it would appear he had picked up the first down. Herbert Scott helping Dorsett.
Well, they're doing the things that they did well against the Rams last week. They're running the football, which will help him throw it, take the pressure off of White.
One reason, too, is Tony Dorsett now had something like 15 yards in the first half. Now has 51 yards in 10 carries. He's beginning to eat them up a little bit, 5 yards at a shot.
Well, you know, the Falcon defense allowed 59% completions against them. So White, Landry, the Cowboys know they can complete passes. It's just a matter of what type of pass.
Robert Shaw, the backup center who played so well against the LA Rams last week that he won a game ball. He'd been backing up John Fitzgerald, but Fitzgerald has a bad foot. Shaw has done a great job in the middle of the line, and they would really miss him if he can't play.
It would be very disastrous. Last week, Shaw did a heck of a job against the Rams. Where you miss him the most is in the shotgun.
John Fitzgerald, bad foot and all, is in there now. 1st and 10 on the Dallas 36. So John Fitzgerald, 10-year veteran out of Boston College, playing on a bad wheel. Pearson left and Hill right. Danny White going to go down the right side, in and out of the hands of Butch Johnson, and picked off by Tom Pridemore. And Pridemore is across the 40 to the Atlanta 43-yard line. Pridemore comes up with the football again. Remember, it was Pridemore who recovered the Preston Pearson fumble.
The ball deflected off of 3 people.
Butch Johnson had it go off his hand.
There it is. The ball was thrown high. Butch Johnson, watch him jump for it. Deflected by Lawrence. Pridemore in the right spot at the right time.
Pridemore, the youngest member of the House of Delegates in West Virginia, he can run for office in Atlanta. 1st and 10 for William Andrews. And the Cowboys stack him up at the 35-yard line.
Well, they had Andrews hit for maybe a 3-yard loss. The strength in his legs and his spinning around, he gets back and picks up a couple of yards.
Bob Brunig was shaken up and had to go to the pits. The report on Robert Shaw, he could return. Brunig will stay out. D.D. Lewis back in there. Meanwhile, Atlanta has just made a change. Alfred Jackson has come out. Wallace Francis is in there. Bartkowski, thanks to the alert interception by Tom Pridemore, has it a 2nd and 7 from the Dallas 35. And they go straight ahead for maybe a couple.
Well, the defensive tackle shut off the middle. They've stopped Andrews better than anyone we've seen this year. This is a big series for both ball clubs.
Here in Atlanta with 9 minutes and 17 seconds left, the temperature is 31 degrees. Meanwhile, Tim Mazzetti standing on the sideline. He had an early field goal and a couple of points so far. 3rd and 5 on the 33. And it's a quick release to Lynn Kane, and Kane to the 30, 25, still on his feet to the 20 and driving. And it's a first down, Falcons.
Well, you know what, Vin? Bartkowski, Lehman Bennett had the right play call. The Cowboys are dogging. See 41 come in from the backside, but he has the quick dump off to Kane. Kane
Dennis Thurman missed him there.
Dennis Thurman picks up the first down.
They're going wild here.
Perfect call for that defense.
The Atlanta Falcons capitalizing on the interception, trying to drive now, have it 1st and 10 on the Dallas 19. Francis right, Jenkins left. Bartkowski looking left, hasn't got anybody, and he's going to go down, dragged down by John Dutton, number 78.
You know, that's the difference between Bartkowski and White. Bartkowski is not too mobile.
White, he's had so many physical problems,
yes,
too.
White can get away from that rush, move around a little bit.
Bartkowski's had 3 knee injuries. John Dutton goes out. With 3 knees, an elbow, and ribs, you can understand why Bartkowski is not too mobile anymore. In fact, he's the first Atlanta quarterback to play every game in 8 years. Larry Cole is now in there for John Dutton, looking pass on a 2nd and 14 from the 23-yard line. And Bartkowski completes his pass at about the 16-yard line to Wallace Francis, but he has to get down to about the 9.
That was another good catch. That ball was low. They had a pretty good rush on Bartkowski. Wilson was right there to make the tackle.
Well, the ball is just shy of the Dallas 16-yard line.
And then the thing that Bartkowski is doing, he's throwing to the right receiver. He's throwing to the one-on-one, and there's less chance of an interception there, a better chance of a completion.
Atlanta, leading by 2 touchdowns, gave one back. Now they've intercepted a pass, and they're driving to get it back again. That's Junior Miller in motion to the left. Bartkowski under some heat by Randy White, still able to throw it away. Randy White just missed sacking him. Dave Scott and White were putting on quite a battle, and Bartkowski just did unload, so Tim Mazzetti will be asked to kick the field goal. And we have another player shaken up. This one is Warren Bryant of Atlanta, number 66. There's Bryant coming off.
Both of their tackles are 6'6", both first-round picks. They're the focal point of that offensive line.
Well, Bryant has to come out. The hold by John James at the 24. So it's a 34-yard field goal. The kick is up. The kick is good. Tim Mazzetti kicking the field goal in the 4th quarter brings up an interesting note. The Falcons were not shut out in the 4th quarter in any game this year. And in some head knocking here in the 4th, they finally pick up 3 points, and a very big 3 points indeed.
And Vin, the reason it's such a big 3 points is that now with 6:37 to play, you can play pass defense and pass rush, not to worry about the running game too much. If they run the football, fine. The clock will keep running.
Mazzetti kicking from the 35, and it's going to roll on the ground and be fielded by James Jones at the 17. He's to the 35 and bent almost in half at about the 38-yard line. Robert Pennywell, number 59, bringing him down. The big play, of course, was the interception by Tom Pridemore of the pass that went off the fingertips of Butch Johnson. The Falcons then went 7 plays with the 34-yard field goal by Mazzetti to make it 27-17 Atlanta. And now let's see about Danny White and the Cowboys. 6 minutes and 28 seconds left in the game. And they put it in play, 1st and 10 on the Dallas 38. Going for a bunch of them to Drew Pearson, upended just across midfield. Tackled by Kenny Johnson.
You know, we used to
first down
defense then Drew Pearson all the time, double him all the time. Here he is in the bottom of your screen, play action, 1st and 10. He's driving Kenny Johnson off, acting like he's going deep. Perfect execution. That guy in the clutch, there aren't many better.
He's remarkable. In fact, the Pro Hall of Fame panel put him on the all-decade team.
He deserves it.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 47. Tony Hill on the left side. Drew Pearson in motion. Play action fake to Dorsett. And White with time going to Tony Hill. No good. Almost intercepted by Kenny Johnson. He had his hands on it, but he couldn't hold it.
Well, they had him covered front and back. Then Kenny Johnson in front. Here it is again. Play action. 3-man rush. This is one of the reasons he has the time. Now Kenny Johnson almost intercepts it right here. And Pridemore 27 has covered him deep.
Kenny Johnson is only about 5'10". Tony Hill is 6'2", so that's quite a battle. There's Kenny, the rookie out of Mississippi State. Meanwhile, Landry listening to his coaches upstairs. 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. White going to Drew Pearson, and he makes the catch inside the 25-yard line.
Then perfect execution. How many times I've seen that? Here it is. 4-man rush. Watch this. Good protection. Watch him throw a strike right into Drew Pearson.
That's Roland Lawrence finally bringing him down. So it is 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 23. 4 minutes and 58 seconds, and of course the clock is going. Each team with 3 timeouts. Tony Hill goes left, Drew Pearson right. Dorsett is behind Springs. And White's going to put it up again. And now releasing it quickly to Dorsett at the 20, to the 15, falling to the 14-yard line. Bob Glazebrook finally bringing him down.
Well, this is a vital drive for both sides. Dallas has to score, then at least kick a field goal. They'd rather score a touchdown to get back in the ball game. Atlanta knows if they stop them here, they got the ball game. So it's a vital series for both sides.
Second and less than a yard.
Yeah, more for the Falcons.
Ball on the 14-yard line. Drew Pearson going left. And Danny White looking, can't find anybody. Now he's going to start to run, pointing, directing traffic, going in the end zone.
Touchdown.
Touchdown. What a catch by Drew Pearson.
Shame.
Oh, what a catch.
And you know why he had all that time and could scramble around? Ben, I've said this so many. It's a 3-man rush. A 3-man rush. Here it is.
They're in shock here at Atlanta-Fulton County Stadium. Watch
Pearson.
Danny White point with his left hand.
Yeah.
He's going to direct the traffic.
And watch Pearson operate. Watch him. Watch him operate. He's waving his arms. And he still has all day to throw. A 10-second pass. And he goes up, plays it at his highest point.
Took it away from Kenny Johnson at the last second. Now the big point by Septien is up and good. In 15 playoff games in his career, Drew Pearson has caught at least one. He'll never catch a better one than that, except perhaps the Hail Mary pass against Minnesota back in 1975.
Well, in the clutch, he's the type of guy you want to go to.
So with 3:40 left in the game, Atlanta 27, Dallas 24. Septien kicking it high, and it will be fielded at the 10 by Mike Smith. And here come the Cowboys. And down he goes. And a flag on the play, and it looked like one of the Cowboys almost threw a punch. And I believe they will call a personal foul. Well, there was a right hand that went flying through the air.
Well, here it is. Let's see if we can see it.
That's Bethea, 76. That's Timmy Newsom trying to grab. There's the elbow. Yeah. Hello.
Forearm.
Dexter Clinkscale, I believe it is, who threw the elbow, and that was a flagrant foul.
Well, that's bad judgment. Forearm to the jaw. See, here you are behind 3 minutes and 31 seconds to play. That's losing your poise. Bad judgment.
On the run back, number 47. Personal foul. First down.
Dexter Clinkscale is the rookie out of South Carolina State, number 47. Here he comes with the elbow.
Yeah, good call. He took a punch at him.
Well, that moves the ball out to the 24-yard line. First and 10, Atlanta. Leading by 3, and Bartkowski to Lynn Kane. Dennis Thurman can't bring him down. Oh, he picked up a couple.
You know, Lynn Kane is a fullback, was a fullback at SC. Now they're using him as a wide receiver. If I were defensive him, I'd play him real tight. I wouldn't give him that room. Now that also shows Bartkowski is not worried. He's not conservative. He's got a lead, but he's still throwing the ball. He's still putting it up.
Meanwhile, with this ball game very much alive, and there's one reason why, Drew Pearson. It'll be a 2nd and 4 on the 30-yard line. Andrews and Kane behind Bartkowski. And it'll be Lynn Kane tripped up and dropped right about at the line of scrimmage.
You know, Vin, we've seen so many games going back to Dallas's touchdown to Drew Pearson, where teams act like they have the ball game won, and they go into a prevent defense and a 3-man rush, and it just gives that quarterback more time to throw. That's how that's how the Rams lost to the Falcons here. 3-man rush, 3rd and 38. You got to put pressure.
Winding down, George. 2:50 left. 2nd and 3 on the 31, and Bartkowski telling Junior Miller to get over the other side. And look at Ed Jones. Ed Jones doing a tightrope. Here comes Lynn Kane, and they will box him in at the 30-yard line.
No flag. Boy, Jones did a tap dance. Yeah. Oh.
Ed Jones. One thing about Too Tall, when he does something, he's obvious. 6'9". Look at that. Too Tall didn't lose his head. He knew he was in motion, so he stayed back of the neutral zone. No encroachment, no offside. 4th and 3 on the 31. By the way, Bartkowski has passed for 312 yards. Danny White has passed for 252 yards. This game is sure changing, George.
It certainly is, man. 2 minutes.
So we have come to the 2-minute warning. This well-bundled-up young man is Raphael Septien. Next to him is Ben Agajanian, his guru. But it'll be Septien who might very well be called upon to get Dallas even a little bit later.
I think what Dallas will do here is work for a return and get field position and try to get in field goal range.
Standing on the 15. James Jones standing on the Cowboy 33. Long count, and the Cowboys are not coming. And James gets off a beauty. And James Jones at the 30 is buried right there. In fact, he went down to the 29, and guess who? Well, if you've been watching, it's down at the bottom. Ray Strong, number 25. What does he play some football for Atlanta?
And then John James came through with a clutch kick. He had 4.9 hang time. That's why there was no return on it.
We talked earlier about Dallas winning wild card games with the exciting last-second histrionics of Roger Staubach. back in 72 and again in 75. Now we'll see with Danny White, 1 minute and 48 seconds. 1st and 10 on the 29. The shotgun, they have a blitz on, but he gets it away, and it's complete to Butch Johnson, who is taken out of bounds around midfield with 1 minute and 42 seconds left in the game.
What they did, they blitzed, and I'm sure White called an audible here. It took him a while to get the ball off, and he hits the out pattern for a good gain. Smart offensive football. I'm surprised the Falcons blitz went an all-out blitz on that.
So it is 1st and 10 on the Dallas 49 with 1 minute and 42 seconds left. And Preston Pearson has now come back into the ward. Danny White going to release it to Pearson. They have a screen for him. And Preston picks his way gingerly across the 40-yard line. 1st down. 1 minute and 18 seconds left on a 1st and 10 for Danny White and the Cowboys. White in the end zone there with nobody anywhere close to it.
He threw that ball away, Vin. The last 2 passes, the Falcons went with a 3-man rush. That screen was a heck of a call in this situation. They need about 7 more yards, maybe 5 for Septian to be in field goal range. His range is about 50, and that's long for him.
So it is 2nd and 10. The ball on the Atlanta 36. Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium has become a madhouse, as you would well imagine. 27-24 Atlanta. 60,222 in the house, and everybody up and at him as the Cowboys in a drive. Right out of the shotgun. Dorsett and Pearson blocking. They release to Dorsett. To the 35, to the 30, to the 25. They will stack him up and sling him to the ground at the 25. But he will have picked up the 1st down to keep the drive alive. 52 seconds each side with 3 timeouts left. And there he is. Raphael Septien will very well be called upon to tie it up. His longest field goal ever. 52 yards against Oakland.
Well, that's a 42-yard field goal from right where he is now. That's well within his range.
His career in clutch playoff field goal attempts, he is 6 for 7 going into this game, and he's kicked 1 today.
And he beat St. Louis 2 years in a row with clutch field goals when the clock was running out.
Once you get him beyond the 40-yard line, then you're asking him to kick beyond himself a little. But inside the 39, he's really something.
You know, Vin, what defensively now, what I would be worried about with the Falcons is that you're not so concerned about just the 3 points that you give them a touchdown.
That's right.
You see, they could throw one into the end zone here and get a score. And for Dallas, they got to be careful they don't throw an interception.
By the way, 60 minutes, of course, would normally be seen at this time. We have already run over by about 6 minutes into their time, so the entire network will give and slide a little bit. Of course, you good folks out on the West Coast, you'll see 60 minutes at its usual time. And don't forget the lineup. 60 minutes, Archie Bunker's plays 1 day at a time, Alice, the Jeffersons, and Trapper John M.D. Okay, 49 seconds left in the game. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 23. Atlanta 27, Dallas 24. The Cowboys fighting for their lives now. Jay Saldy comes in to relieve Billy Joe Dupree. Is there any interpretation of that?
Yeah, more speed to get the pass. Dupree's the better blocker. Saldy has the better hands.
All right, Tony Hill will go left. Saldy, the tight end, on the right side. Drew Pearson goes right. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 23. Throwing in the corner, no good. Tony Hill ran out of real estate in trying to make the catch. Kenny Johnson was stride for stride with him.
They're working Tony Hill on Kenny Johnson. Again, Kenny Johnson's giving him room. Falcons are dogging. They picked it up. the ball takes them out of bounds. You know what, Vin? At the start of this, we said the game was dead even.
They're having trouble with the clock. Earlier, they did not have 6 seconds on it. It was 11:47. It should have been 11:53. The clock apparently did not go, and there's 49 seconds left. Butch Johnson on a wing. And now Drew Pearson in motion again to the right. Picked up by Roland Lawrence. And it's a pass to Drew Pearson. He caught it. Touchdown. The Cowboys are out in front with 42 seconds left.
You know what it is, Ben? It's what we talked about, a playoff experience, a big game experience. Drew Pearson, the clutch guy, making the catch. 42 seconds on the clock, if it's correct. Actually, he's pretty well covered, but Lawrence didn't see the ball. What a comeback.
The Dallas Cowboys were down 24-10.
There it is.
They have not only caught, but they have passed the Falcons, and Atlanta has gone from euphoria to the pits of depression with 42 seconds left. Charlie Waters coming up out of the hold after the wobbly pass. He's going to pass in the end zone. No good. Charlie Waters had a trouble getting the handle on it.
That was a big miss here. Now a field goal ties the game. Good snap. He just fumbles it.
And then by the time he teed it up, Septien had already committed himself. And Waters tried to come up and salvage the point anyway. Kenny Johnson was in there. And that means Atlanta has 42 seconds to somehow come up with a field goal and get even.
And they have 3 timeouts, Ben. They have all their timeouts. So that's very important. What a game.
30-27 Dallas. With 42 seconds left in the game. Remarkable catch by Drew Pearson. And it's now an individual battle of clutch receptions between Alfred Jenkins and Drew Pearson.
Now, do you kick a squib ball or do you kick it all the way down? What I wanted my kicker to do was to kick a ball on the ground, a line drive on the ground, so they couldn't set up an organized return, because all they need is a field goal to tie this game and send it in overtime.
Well, we'll see now what Septien has been instructed to do. Mike Smith is deep, standing inside the 5. Kenny Johnson is on his left. And here's the kick, and he's going to kick it deep. Smith will take it in the end zone, and he will run it out. I wonder there to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, 25, backs out to the 27, flag on the play.
Well, he hesitated there, Vin. You notice that? He didn't know whether to bring it out or not.
Bruce Huther, number 57, a little hot on that play, and let's see. Perhaps a tripping foul. Let's see. And it will be against Atlanta, evidently.
Well,
which would be a crusher, because he had made an excellent return. Yep.
Well, again, more penalties on the kicking game.
Here's Fred Silva's interpretation.
On the run back, number 51. Tripping. Push down.
Tripping.
Yep. So it is 1st and 10. On about the 13-yard line with 36 seconds left for Bartkowski. Charged by Larry Cole. And Cole went right over Bartkowski's head into the end zone as Steve went down at about the 3-yard line.
Well, then they ran a stunt, and Cole came around. The left end came down. Too Tall came down inside, and Cole came around. They didn't pick him up. Let him in there scot-free. You know, if Dallas wins this game, it's just been what we talked about way back. It's the playoff experience, because they haven't been ahead until right now.
You know, an interesting thing, with all of the yardage that Bartkowski has passed for, 302. You know, Danny White has passed him. Danny White passed for 322 yards.
Second half.
All in the second half. So with 31 seconds left, Tim Mazzetti, hoping he will have a chance.
Ben, you'll remember this. We saw the Falcons come out of the hole, not quite this deep, against the Rams. Remember 3rd and 38, 4th and 11, and beat the Rams. So this club is capable of coming back against adversity.
Oh, yes. Atlanta, 10 of their 12 victories coming from behind. In fact, late game heroics have been the Falcons' trademark. They outscored the opposition almost 2-1 after halftime. Just another reminder for all you good folks in the East and Midwest. A little bit late with 60 Minutes, but it will be on immediately following football, as well as that star-studded lineup for this evening on CBS. And a reminder, all the good people on the West Coast, you'll see 60 Minutes at its usual time. 31 seconds left. Time running out on the Cinderella Falcon. Bartkowski passing and complete at the 20-yard line. Wallace Francis caught by Wilson and Thurman before going OB.
Well, the Cowboys then came in with a 4-man rush, and they're running stunts. They're putting pretty good pressure on them with that 4-man rush.
So now you have a 3rd down play for Bartkowski. The ball is on the 21-yard line. 3rd and about 2, but he doesn't have the luxury of time. 24 seconds left in the game. The stunning again of the Cowboys, and the pass no good. That one led Alfred Jenkins just a stride too much. Aaron Mitchell right there with him. Boy, it's tough to play a long season and come down to 19 seconds.
It sure is to have the type of season these guys have played. You know, the last time I said with Bartkowski at quarterback was 4th and 11. I said he's got to get the first down. He threw for a touchdown. Here it is, 4th and what, 2?
4th and 2.
4th and 2, 4th and 3. He's got to get the first down.
Well, with 19 seconds left and with 2 timeouts available, let's see what Bartkowski and the Falcons can come up with.
Get the first down and step out of bounds.
And Bartkowski over the middle, no good. Intended for Wallace Francis.
Well,
and that was a 4th down play. So Dallas takes over, and with 15 seconds left, that picture tells a lot. Steve Bartkowski, wearied, beaten up, and thoroughly frustrated and disappointed, walking off with the rest of the red shirts. They ran out, and for the Dallas Cowboys, that remarkable team that had been in the playoffs 14 times in the last 15 years, that had their remarkable victory against the Rams after being pummeled on Monday night. They were behind 24-10, and they were able to rally and pull it out. What a story for Dallas in that incredible chapter for Tom Landry.
It's a tremendous comeback, coaching, discipline. It's again been the maturity of this ball club, the playoff experience, the number of big games they've been in, and the guy that came through in the clutch again was Drew Pearson.
And for Tom Landry, the 3rd winningest coach in NFL history, Hallis, Lambeau, and Landry. He's done it again. Meanwhile, a bitter day for Lehman Bennett. He brought his Falcons as far as they could go. They put on a tremendous show, but they were unable to cork up Drew Pearson, who stole the game in the end zone on that scrambling pass from Danny White.
And what a job Lehman Bennett has done. He was the NFC Coach of the Year. He's taken this team that was 6-10 last year, turned them around 12-4. And again, as you mentioned, every game they lost, they could have won. They lost, I think, 10 out of 10 out of 12 that they won, they came from behind. And now here they're going to lose this.
Meanwhile, Leonard Tost and Jim Murray and good friend Dick Vermeil and company will open up the doors and welcome Dallas in Philadelphia. The time running out in this story in Atlanta as the Cowboys came from behind and beat Atlanta 30-27.